Taygeta is the main engine of positive ET presence on Earth. The negative ones on Earth need us removed because they are losing. This group of Taygetean ships came back in 1952. We, as a race, have been coming and going for thousands of years. And this team, except for some like Rachel of Temer, who came in 1952, has continuously been here since 2008. And this girl, typing, only arrived here October 2015. This is deep space for us. But it must be remembered, we are just more people. We are not superior. We are people like you. We just grew up in a different place where many rules are different, yes, but others are the same. Mainly density rules. Those are the ones that change. Still, you are so much more advanced in understanding the reality, the mechanics of the matrix, densities, etc. I dare say that you also understand them, even if it looks like a deep inner knowing only. Like deep inside you know something is not right there. Yes, that's true. But we can't understand the why and who exactly and how. I understand your point. That knowledge comes from density again. Like in the fifth, you are aware of everything that goes on in the densities 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, but not 6. Things that are strange for you, strange and not empirically provable, are simple life facts for me. It's all because of a gradient of frequency, like the dial in your radio. I look Russian, but it is because the Russian people have Taygetan genes, because of old settlements there. We are an explorer race. The galaxy is littered with little Taygetan skeletons still sitting at the helm of dead starships drifting in deep space. Of all the crews that never made it home. We have an insatiable craving for knowledge and personal expansion. People think we are loving and fluffy, but not only. We are also hardened, we are armed, still use old-fashioned Japanese-like swords. Pleiadians are not associated on Earth to be a warrior race, but we are, for better or worse. The humans think we are all love and peace, space hippies, as President Richard Nixon used to call us. But we are not only that. We are very equilibrated here. We have high science and mathematical brains, but we mesh everything into a whole. I love sewing and embroidery and the design of my own clothes. At the same time, I am also interested in how to repair and transmission and high quantum mathematics. You can do everything, never limit yourself. We never separate magic, music, paintings from math, high physics and logic. Navigating a ship through space is math, but math is also a logic clear sequence. We turn math into music, so it's music what ultimately guides the ships, tones and harmony. But in general, between your race and ours, we are just more people, and our similarities are far greater and of far greater importance than our differences. For example, as girls, we may wear earrings, necklaces, dresses and high heels because there is a lot more cross-cultural influence between races than what is imagined. A recent example is Aneka dancing with shoes that light up in the dark when she steps on them. I asked where she got that, and she showed me a YouTube video of girls dancing with luminous tennis shoes, see? Now she is importing that here. Okay, no way. That I never imagined. We are very innocent here. Silly things like luminous shoes can take easily. But the earrings and necklaces are very old, thousands of years old, and you can find many females all over this quadrant of the galaxy wearing the same lipstick shade. I'm serious. How do you communicate between planets? Between here and our home planets, we don't use radio microwaves. It's slow and it's dangerous to biology. We use transmissions in the muon neutrino range. Those guys at SETI listening to radio signals from afar, looking for life out there. No one here uses radio. We all use muon neutrino. They are looking for smoke signals. They won't find any. That's ancient technology. You use the language to communicate? Yes, this is difficult for us to understand because here words have a loaded meaning, so you cannot confuse them as you can with Earth languages that have an almost fixed meaning. Loaded meaning? You mean they come with more subtextual meaning underneath that people automatically know when they hear them? Yes, I may say car here, and it will be loaded with color, model, brand, condition of the paint, service history, and anything else you may want to see fit in the message. Down there, you say car, and it's generic, needing a further explanation to understand what you are talking about and what car you are talking about. So the communication with the humans is hard sometimes, because imagine you are trying to explain complicated metaphysical concepts to someone, but all you may use is a telegraph and Morse code manually. Frustrating, isn't it? Even if you may be very good at Morse code. How do you write in your language, Swaruu? I don't have any way to print Taygetean Pleiadian letters here. What does it look like? Is there any language similar to yours in writing? Yes, it's known on Earth thanks to Billy Mayer. Oh wow, beautiful! You know, I love circles like that. Every time I see crop circles with the circles, it gives me shivers. Similar to Hebrew, because it came from Egypt. And in Egypt we had a base there. We write Taygeta Pleiadian like you would Japanese. From top to bottom, next column to the right, then top to bottom again. How do you say my name is Gosha? Erra Gosha. Yes. Yo, no. How do you say my name is Swaruu and I am from Pleiades? Erra Swaruu and ya ete Pleiera Taygeta. Yate, it's hello. Ae, thank you. Otka, welcome. Iyom, I love you, as om has several meanings regarding self. In Taygetan, you don't have a mixed meaning for words. That's also why we use the apostrophe when we write as a word, with the apostrophe in different places means different things. And we load telepathically the words, so it's hard to write Taygetan using human lettering. It sounds Navajo, and the name of one of your team members, one of your leaders, is Makitosimu. It sounds Japanese. Because the Japanese have roots in ancient Lemuria. That was a Taygetan colony. It's not Japanese, it's Taygetan. And notice that Makito Tosimu sounds Navajo too. And this is because Navajo also has its roots in Taygetan. The difference is that Japanese has its roots in old, ancient Taygetan, and it acquired many words from other languages. Navajo, on the other hand, has its roots in present-day Taygetan. It's very similar. What are your uniforms on the ship like? I am not sure who designs the uniforms, but they are pretty. Here the grey one was used, but it has fallen into disuse. Those that are used now are black with thin strips of electric blue, or black with copper, or completely black. They have built-in technology because they are also spacesuits. They become rigid when receiving an impact. They give telemetry information regarding the medical functions of your body, and they also keep the temperature stable, whether it is very cold or very hot. They are also fully armored, among other functions, that are controlled from the belt. We wear a patch on our right shoulders with the stars. It's a hologram and it's photorealistic. On the left we carry the ship's emblems, and a general one in front that also serves as an intercommunicator. Do women have menstruations there as well? The moon controls your cycles there on Earth, as you know. But here, there is no moon to control our cycles. We don't have moons in the planets. So it's our own consciousness, the one that governs our cycles. We got more control, yes, but also more things to think about and take care of. Always watching your thoughts and mental frequency and wants. You get to rest from periods at menopause on Earth. Here we don't get any rest for the duration of our lives. But you do suppress periods mentally for months or years at a time, controlling them. Suppressing them mentally, amazing. Do you have it every month too? You do it as well there. You can suppress them mentally for some time. Most of the time you do it unconsciously. When you have mastered this, you don't need any birth control. Only here it's almost complete suppression and control. And not every month, as time here is funny, so it comes in cycles, but it's your mental cycles. Actually, you know, since I started talking with you, my period is late now. I think it's the excess of emotions talking with you this month. Here the emotions affect your period. Yes, that's how it works. You suppress it because you don't want your period to bother you now. You think? Yes, of course. So be careful, because while you are there, you are a slave of the moon and the matrix. You cannot control fertility as we do here. Yet even here, things happen because what you want may not be what you want unconsciously. I mean, we here may have an unwanted pregnancy. So you have to be very clear about your wants in this aspect. The problem here is that even if you don't have a partner, you still may get pregnant. I found this out the hard way. How? Taygetan females can self-impregnate, but the child is always female and an exact copy of herself, a natural clone of herself. We are, or can be, very, very fertile. A factor that triggers this in most Taygetan females is the feeling of loneliness and the want to have someone to talk to be with as a family. So you just get pregnant just like that? Yes. I lived alone in my little house by the lake, and I was busy doing my clothes and clothes for the community, and I was very, very lonely. And then I found out that I was pregnant, and I was still a virgin, me as my mother. I thought when you said self-impregnation that it was some kind of a medical procedure. That can be done as well, but why would you want to? I thought that was the only way. I didn't know you could do it mentally. You can, if you are a Taygetan female. Not all humanoid races do that. Another variant of pregnancy is not so nice but also fact. You may get pregnant years after sexual intercourse, when you feel the same way, lonely. If this is the case, the baby may or may not be female, and most probably will not be a clone. Taygetan females store sperm in their ovaries for later use. But if the female has been with multiple men, then there is a problem. Well, I guess with your state of technology, it could be easily determined who the father is, right? That's correct. But it's not nice, much less for the men. Because if you have a new partner sometime after the first, The baby most probably will be his and not the older one's. A man has hardwired in him that he will not father someone else's child, but of course it happens. When you come to 3D from 5D, how do you do it? It's a gravity-controlled tube of light, used to haul cargo, people, up and down a ship. It can also push or pull something. It can also print a crop circle. Oh, and it won't be visible, the beam, cloaked? Yes, mostly in daylight. At night it's more difficult to cloak the beam. It may be visible. And the roof is no problem. Yes, but when someone gets down here, do they have their 5D perception intact? They do have it intact, because they use technological devices that maintain the frequency enough. It's harnessed in the utility belt. They are complete ET walking there. So they don't perceive 3D superimposed objects, or they do, just that they know they're artificial? They do perceive 3D as you do, but they see further, as they also see 4D objects and beings. But it feels strange to be there for them. We use different materials here. We use nothing you have there, except maybe wood. Even the paper is different. Thank you for being here with me. How are you? I am well, thank you. Just anxious to talk to you. And how are you? To say the truth, I've been very sick. It's a long story, but I'm better now. You sick? I didn't know you could get sick. I am glad you feel better. We can. We are biology, not a light being like the New Age portrays us. I have a body, fingers to type, keyboard, and slightly crooked teeth. My teeth are crooked too, and I am discovering that actually now that you are like us in many aspects. We are only variants of the same species. I look alike, so does the planet, just with a twist here and there. There are so many similarities that it does cause trouble when wanting to communicate, because it makes it look like it's all Earth. But there are countless planets that look like Earth that it's hard to accept for humans at this current level of understanding. Some places, there is no difference. Even the flora and fauna are almost the same. Rabbits, squirrels, among other animals, are all from Erra. Apart from that, me and the others, we are as ET as it gets. We are similar in many ways, and we also differ a lot in others, especially our perception of reality. We may not fall into the expected ways ET should look like and behave, but that's exactly why we are real. As Aneka said back in 2016, there is no race more alien for the humans than the one that looks like their reflection in the mirror. I agree with that. People expect green creatures with big heads, and it's such a misinterpretation for the most part. There are those as well, but they are not us. We are here only for the welfare and well-being of the general population. These videos and messages, is a clear, hi there, we do exist, like it or not, understand it or not. And it's never been done before, not at this scale, not this direct. Well, I thank you so much for doing this now, Swaruu. We have been hungry of the contact. I know I have. So many years, screaming out to the ET beings out there. You are the hero here. You are there in that heavy, difficult place, not us. I hope we won't disappoint you, Swaruu. And I am not just talking about me and Robert. About us all, the humans here, reacting to your messages, taking action, changing our consciousness. Each one has his or her own role to play. All are important, even when some are not so open. And on the contrary, we are surprised at the positive results. Voting doesn't work. It's full of problems. The doing what the majority dictates is not followed in Taygeta. We use a council of elders and experts on each subject at hand. The best and most logical solution is the one that prevails. That's why we don't observe democracy and voting. The voting system is not the best way to go. Are elders really elders? Anyone is an elder. If he or she wants to participate in a council about something, all he or she must do is ask. There are experts. If we have a problem with the nuclear reactors, we won't bring in the bakers to give their opinion. Just as an example, because here even the bakers and the farmers know about nuclear power. How old are the men over there? Depends on the man, as anywhere else, I guess. But I mean, how old do they look normally? You said that at a certain age the body stops aging, unless the person wants to look older. 25, 20 for women. Not all look that young. It's your concept of age anyway, not mine. But the men that look like in their 40s are in the hundreds of years of age here, like 400 or 500. Do you feel love there? As a species, yes. Taygetans are probably one of the most romantic species around. Love is one of the strongest feelings and factors that define our society. It's also said that we are the sexiest species as compared to other humanoid. But you also said it's men usually who feel most attracted to love and relationships in your society, no? Taygetan women are more explorers. Yes, strangely enough, it's basically inverted as roles go, as compared to Earth. The men here are the ones preoccupied to find a good mate, true love, and settling down, making a family and so on. Women, on the other hand, are more into science and exploration. Love is a man's life. For a woman here, love is only a part of life. And as I once told you, many people are transcending romantic love here. And why are they transcending the romantic love? Towards what? That's what is happening here. And it's coming from the girls. Towards oneness, the not having to rely on another exterior from yourself. The boys are still very much into love and relationships. Okay, and are your males handsome? Oh, they are all handsome. I wonder what they are like and what energy they transmit. Do you think our men are ugly comparing to yours? I know it's a silly question. And why don't you get ugly ones? No, I think we don't get ugly ones. You here have a lot more control over what you are going to look like when you incarnate. You practically design yourself here. About the human males, I'd rather not state an opinion. Let's say that you've got many handsome ones there as well. And is it true that they all have beards? Yes, it's hard to find one that clean shaves. A beard is man beauty. Most have them long and short. They do prickle you when close. You go where your frequency takes you, whether or not you are aware of it. What happens is that most people simply are and have no control over themselves, much less their frequency. But that does not mean that you cannot control it at will, because in itself, your frequency is you. It is the result of what you think and what you feel. The unconscious works a lot there, working many times against our will, that is true, but you can control it, and with it, all your frequency. You can control at will where you want to go. It is not that it has a will of its own. Your frequency is your own will. Define for yourself what you want, focus, and with that, you govern where you are going. Remember that your frequency is how you feel, your happiness, your sadness, but it is also your intention and your thoughts. Your defects are only your interpretations within a predetermined frame of reference. They are prejudices that are within a scale of values. You feel that you have flaws compared to one thing or the other. It's matrix programming, that's all. You are already everything you need to be. You just need to remember it. We always evolve. We always grow. And at the same time, we are what we need to be. Even so, inner spiritual work must be done. Not having gone to evolve, but to experience living in a carbon body. For me, that is another experience that enriches and makes you evolve. We never stop evolving and learning, therefore nothing is fixed. The only constant in the universe is change. I also watched the stars at night, wanting to get out and explore them. Before, in my past life, that I remember perfectly as part of the present, I was a fabric weaver. I had a loom in Erra, where I made fabrics for my community. I also made clothes, mostly for women. I designed it, embroidered it, and decorated it. Although it was available and I used technology, I preferred to use my manual loom because crafts and handicrafts are much more appreciated in my culture than what is made with the machine. I lived in a small house next to a lake, surrounded by coniferous forest overlooking the snowy mountains behind. While this might seem like a dream place, which it was, being isolated and very lonely, I wanted to leave that place and go exploring. I also had a very strong personal motivation to do it. I looked at the sky from my little loom and could see the ships coming and going, and I wanted to be in one of them, because I was wondering what adventures they were having, what they found, what they were experiencing. Once I was very impressed to see one of our larger ships descend to its port behind the mountains. I was drawn to its large size that moved and displaced the clouds as it moved forward and down. But what impressed me the most was seeing that the ship had a large hole, great damage on its side near the back, which is why it went down to its port for repairs and had not remained in orbit, as they usually do with the ships of that size. Far from making me scared, it only increased my need to go out and be with all those people of my race who were dedicated to space exploration. Sorry, I am distracted. Too many people moving around me here, even being inside my room. This because the fighters leave for CAP between 4 and 4:30 your time. CAP, Combat Air Patrol. Okay, all sci-fi to me. After all this time, still sci-fi for you? Of course, I haven't been there, Swaruu. But I don't mean sci-fi as I don't believe it. Just hard to wrap my head around this in my little life here in a small town near Barcelona. I know. Sometimes it's hard for me to understand or to imagine how you would see my world here that surrounds me now. They still don't imagine in the movies what everyday life is here. That's also what I'm trying to share. It's also all very friendly and user-friendly here, at least in our ships. And it's also very logical. I was talking to my friend here and we were saying that this direct contact is turning out to be something very difficult to assimilate, to understand, and to believe as true for people of Earth. But that's because they have expectations implanted with mind control yet again, but in reality, we are a lot simpler. We and our existence is actually simpler than what you all are led to believe. There is a lot more humanity out there in space than what you are led to believe. I mean, humans are all over the place, countless planets, and it gets silly because in most of them, women use makeup and earrings like on Earth. Why is that so difficult to accept? I don't know. We haven't been told. Well, now you have.